will be refuting the claim stating that requiring citizens to retake driver's tests periodically would significantly decrease traffic accidents. The speaker's secondary claims were, number one, many drivers develop unsafe driving skills. Number two, many drivers' skills deteriorate as they age. And number three, driver's tests can catch incorrect driving habits. In the first claim, many drivers develop unsafe driving habits. The speaker stated that the U.S. Census has reported over 10 million accidents since 1990, and also stated that as of 2009, there have been almost 36,000 motor vehicle-related deaths in the past decade. But the speaker only gives us one example of an unsafe driving habit, which was 48% of drivers don't use their turn signals, according to the Society of Automotive Engineers. This is not the only unsafe driving habit drivers have developed over the past years to cause car accidents. According to RoadTrack, the top 9 most dangerous things drivers do is, number 1, driving under the influence, driving tired, speeding, distracted driving, so they use their cell phones or they eat, driving too fast for weather conditions, drafting tractor trailers, reckless driving, like swerving or weaving in and out of traffic, not wearing a seatbelt, and failure to yield the right of way. In the secondary claim, many drivers' skills deteriorate as they age. The speaker talks about drivers with Alzheimer's. He states that 1 in 9 people over the age of 65 have Alzheimer's, for a total of 5 million people. What the speaker does not talk about is other people that do not have Alzheimer's. According to All About Vision, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says 6,512 Americans who had died in automobile accidents in 2005 were 65 or older. That percentage is expected to keep climbing as the number of older Americans increases, which tells us that 15% of the fatalities in 2005 were caused by adults who were 65 or older. The CDC published a Vision Health article for adults 65 or older stating that vision impairment is a serious public health concern among older adults, affecting more than 2.9 million people in the United States, meaning not only drivers who have Alzheimer's skills deteriorate as they age. In the third claim, driver tests can catch incorrect driving habits. The speaker talks about how New York regulates senior drivers, but did not talk about how California regulates senior drivers. According to S-House law, to renew a senior license, the process involves completing a written medical history by you and your doctor, written vision and driving tests, and an in-person hearing at which you may present evidence and arguments supporting your ability to be a safe driver. This can decrease traffic accidents in older drivers. But the speaker does not talk about how it can catch incorrect driving habits in younger drivers. By retaking driving tests, drivers can catch their lack of using turn signals, their speeding, reckless driving, not wearing a seatbelt, or failure to yield the right of way. The advocate failed to prove his claim requiring citizens to retake driver's tests periodically would significantly decrease traffic accidents by only talking about adults who have Alzheimer's or older adults. There are clearly many reasons why the number of accidents are high.
All right, structurally, you set up the main secondary claims pretty clearly. You get to the first point, and you basically say that the advocate only talks about one of the potential hazards, and then you list a whole bunch of other hazards. I'm not exactly sure that that diminishes the need for having testing or people being better prepared. So it's not just the failure to use turn signals, but we got a dozen other things that they do that is stupid. Doesn't that seem to suggest that that would be a good reason why we ought to be checking them more? I'm not sure why there might be a good argument to say that these things occur even though people are trained not to do them. They fall into those habits. It's inconvenient. There's no way to get people to consistently do them. There's got to be some argument there, because your argument isn't about what the habits are. It's what's going to prevent those things from being habits, or how are we going to stop them from becoming habits. And I didn't really think you got to that. I kind of understand what you're doing. You're trying to develop an alternate causality, but it's not an alternate causality. It's just an additional causality, because the real alternate causality is whether or not people are, capable of driving, not the mistakes that they make when they're driving. So the question is, why are they incapable of driving? You came up with some arguments. And then the advocate presented the argument about Alzheimer's, and then you said, well, forget Alzheimer's, how about vision? Well, that doesn't deny that, again, people have reasons why they aren't very good drivers. The question then becomes, how do we address those issues? Or are people unaware of them? I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that says that people become aware of those problems as they get older. If you can't see or read something, most people get glasses. I don't know that the people who are suffering from dementia are all capable of making the decision for themselves, but are there other people who are capable of making the decision for them? I don't know. Hopefully you guys will not have to go through this. I had to go through that, taking my father's keys away and not letting him use the car because he didn't know what the hell he was doing most of the time. And I thought, he's going to kill somebody, and I just had to do it, after my mother passed away. So it's one of those things that, what do people do about it? That's because we can't prevent the Alzheimer's, we can't prevent the vision thing, but what can we do to prevent it? And there are probably a lot of individual actions that people take. The advocate's saying some government action would fix this. I think you could argue that there are other ways to address that and diminish the argument that way. The second point is, that the driving tests work. And again, it just outlines what the driving tests are. It sounds pretty thorough. The challenge here is to demonstrate that it's the driving tests that are going to produce these results. I don't remember ever hearing any data from the one state that was mentioned, New York, that has this kind of policy and procedure. If the advocate didn't cite evidence that indicated that they had more success or decreased the number of accidents, then what proof is there that this policy works? That's, I think, where you need to go for your argument. Way too much reading. That's... Talk to us, tell us what your argument is, and explain it. All right. Merci.